Okay, let's dive into this explainer. Today, we're looking at a historical figure whose legacy is, well, it's nothing short of extraordinary. We're exploring the life and the literal unbreakable record of Khalid ibn al-Walid, may Allah be pleased with him. You know, when we talk about military history, we usually hear about commanders who won massive victories, right? But they also suffered some bitter, crushing defeats along the way. That's just the normal rhythm of human conflict. But the figure we're focusing on today, he completely shatters that mold. We are talking about a man who faced down the two absolute greatest superpowers of his era, and he broke them both. So we're going to deconstruct his journey, not just as this brilliant tactician on the battlefield, but really as a fascinating study in character, transformation, and ultimate devotion. We'll trace the exact path that earned him one of the most revered titles in all of history. Did you know there was a Muslim general who never lost a single battle? Seriously, take a second to really let that sink in. Out of all the generals, all the strategists and leaders throughout all of human history, having a truly undefeated record across countless engagements it's practically unheard of. We're talking about a guy whose very name became synonymous with victory itself. His name was Khalid ibn al-Walid. And as we analyze the source material in this explainer today, you're going to see exactly how he pulled off this unprecedented feat. But to really grasp the sheer height of his success, we've got to look at where he started. Because honestly, his story doesn't begin where you might think.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the dramatic night and day contrast here. Before accepting Islam, Khalid was actually a pretty formidable adversary. In fact, his sheer tactical genius during the Battle of Uhud famously turned the tide against the Muslims. He was literally the most dangerous force on the opposing side of the battlefield. But then, this profound pivot happens, and it wasn't some rushed decision either. Khalid thoughtfully entered the city of Medina, he met with the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and he embraced Islam. I mean, this is a massive transformation. He took all of that military genius, all of that unparalleled tactical skill that he used to use to oppose the Muslims, and he dedicated it entirely to defending them. Let's see how this builds into just an unstoppable momentum.
Just look at the sheer scale of Phase 3 on this timeline. Once he embraced Islam in Medina, his momentum was geographically staggering. He wasn't just fighting local, small-scale skirmishes. He was outmaneuvering the massive, highly established armies of the Byzantine and Sassanid Persian empires. We are talking about commanding forces across the sweeping deserts of Arabia, pushing up into the incredibly complex territories of Iraq, and expanding all the way out into Syria. Just imagine the logistical nightmares, the shifting climates, and the wildly diverse enemies he faced down. Yet he maintained absolute, complete discipline. From one region to the next, he simply did not lose. Take the legendary Battle of Yarmouk, for example, where he decisively defeated a vastly superior Byzantine force. He adapted to every single landscape and completely outplayed every opposing force in his path. It is just a stunning display of continuous, unbroken victory. So, how do you even achieve a record like that? Well, it wasn't luck, and it certainly wasn't just having superior numbers. According to the historical sources, his unbroken record rested firmly on three unshakable pillars, and this brilliantly illustrates his winning formula. First, brilliant strategy. The guy could read a battlefield like nobody else, anticipating enemy movements and using even the harshest terrain to his absolute advantage. Second, unyielding courage. He wasn't one of those generals directing things safely from the back. He constantly led his highly disciplined troops from the front lines, inspiring them through his own sheer bravery in the most desperate of situations. But it was the third pillar that truly anchored him, an absolute, unshakable trust in Allah. His physical tactics were perfectly aligned with his spiritual conviction. He believed deeply in his cause, and that combination, tactical genius, personal bravery, and profound faith, it created a formula that literally never failed him. So the crucial point is, what happens when that kind of unparalleled success is suddenly challenged? You'd probably assume a general with a perfect, undefeated record would demand absolute power, right? Or infinite fame. But the ultimate test of Khalid's character didn't actually happen while fighting an enemy's sword in hand. It happened within his own ranks. Serving Allah was far, far greater to him than any earthly power or fame. At the very height of his success in Syria, Caliph Umar made the tough decision to remove him from his position as the supreme commander. And his reaction? He just calmly handed over the reins to another leader. No rebellion. No drama. He remained completely loyal to the cause. He obeyed the decision without a single complaint and simply continued to fight as a regular soldier. This proves that for Khalid, it was never really about his own ego, his rank, or his personal glory. It was entirely about his service and his duty.
Which brings us to the core identity of the man we're studying today, Saifullah.
the Sword of Allah. Now, this wasn't some flashy title he just gave himself. No, it was a profound honor bestowed upon him directly by the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. When you step back and look at the entirety of his life, the incredible physical courage he displayed, the unshakable faith he held in his heart, and honestly, perhaps most importantly, that profound humility to step down when he was asked to, you see exactly why he earned this legendary title. Think about it. A sword is an instrument. It doesn't fight for its own glory. It fights for the one who wields it. Khalid made himself a willing instrument of his faith. And it's that exact combination of traits that continues to deeply inspire Muslims all around the world today, centuries after he planted his sword in the ground. As we reflect on all this remarkable history, it's really vital to remember where Khalid drew his ultimate inspiration from. We're reminded of the beautiful Quranic verse, "Indeed, in the messenger of Allah, you have an excellent example." Khalid's transformation, his discipline, and his profound humility, all of it was rooted in the guidance and the example of the Prophet. It's just such a powerful reminder that true greatness is often found not just in the battles we win, but in the character we display and the humility we keep when we're standing at the very top. If this explainer sparked your curiosity and you want to keep learning, make sure to follow for more inspiring Islamic stories. But before we wrap up today, I want to leave you with this final thought. In our own lives, when we're faced with our greatest successes and our deepest test of ego, are we fighting for our own fame or are we serving a higher purpose? Think about that. Until next time, keep learning.